English translation. 293rd. Contact. Tuesday, 17th October 2000. 18:10 hours.
Greetings too, my friend. I was expecting you later, so I just went to bed a few minutes ago to take a nap.
It was not my view to disturb you.
That is by no means the case. What work have you then brought with you?
That is why I am here. Firstly, I wanted to pick up what you had already done, and secondly, I was approached by the spirit leadership to clarify with you some facts of the last work. It is of the 12 questions which I have to ask if you agree.
Of course, why should I not? But first I have something on my stomach, on my mind, that makes me very happy that you came here. If it is okay with you, I would like to discuss this with you first. It is actually about hearing your opinion and view on a certain matter. What do you think? Can we favor this thing, because it seems to me to be very important?
Of course. There is nothing to stop us from doing that. And we can discuss the issues I have been asked to deal with afterwards in peace, without having to hurry. I think it will take us about 30 minutes. So, present your request.
Thank you. It is something unpleasant that happened on the 7th of October, and led to an escalation that has not been resolved in any wise even by the hour. It is...
You do not have to try to tell me these things, because I know exactly what you want to tell me. The matter, which unfortunately is very regrettable, became known to me through our notes, which I evaluated this afternoon. So I think I am right in assuming that it is the tiresome matter of the young man's not wanting to understand and not fitting in.
You are right about your assumption. And if you have already had the facts in your mind, then I can spare myself my speech and my opinion, which, according to your records, you must also know.
That is the case, and for my part I am of the opinion that what you have said and explained fully corresponds to correctness. But to the matter itself, the young man conducts himself like in the early beginning different...
Purely private matter of a core group member.
What else can I say? You said the facts in more detail, more exact and more understandable than if I had had to do that. I did not exactly come across the same denominator as you with everything, but when I think about what I've heard, I must agree with you.
My explanations are fully in line with the facts and requirements.
I do not want to deny that either. But can we now turn away from this topic? I still have 2 or 3 questions.
Certainly.
Good, as is customary in your language. You call human beings of our or your kind simply human beings or humanoids, while you call other human beings who do not resemble us or you anatomically, both externally or internally, extra-humanoids or extra-human beings. Here on the Earth, at least in the German language, this sounds a bit strange, especially because we have a different term for fori people, one that is borrowed from Greek. This is how we call anatomically foreign people xenohumanoids, which means foreign humanoids, or xenoanthropos, which corresponds to the term foreign person. Could we then use these earthly terms in the future when we talk about anatomically foreign people? There is probably still the term extraterrestrial, but this does not mean what it should mean when we talk about anatomically foreign human beings. Exohumanoids are actually correct.
Nothing stands in the way of your wish. Moreover, the earthly word terms are more familiar to the Earth humans.
A true word. But tell me, I asked you to ask Simya Se if she would like the cowbell that I received 2 years ago from a Pole or a Czech as a present for her. Were you able to put the question to her?
I did that, and she opined literally, "No, I cannot use a bell like that. I am not a cow."
Aha, but I did not mean it in that manner either. Look here, this bell is...
It is beautiful, but it has nothing in common with a cowbell.
Possibly, I've not seen it for a long time and thought it was a cowbell. But leave it. Sim Yase and Quetzal once explained to me, in response to a question of mine concerning this, that the destroyer, which you also call the wandering planet, is not a unique phenomenon, because such wandering planets exist in the vastness of the universe in very many and often gigantic sizes, whereby these drift freely through space and as a rule belong to no solar system. That is correct, no?
We never tell you things that correspond to untruth.
I know that. I just wanted to confirm again that it really is so. The reason for this is this article here, which was published on 5th October 2000 in Der Landbote. If you want to read it, please.
Of course, at least an interesting message for the humans of Earth, who have something new in their research and have made some progress.
Is that all there is to it? Stupid. Your answer is also a confirmation.
Exactly.
Of course. But now again the question I asked you via Florina regarding the surnames and first names. You let Florina give me an answer, but I would like to hear it from you personally, that it now also appears in the contact report. It is about whether family names or first names should be written and pronounced as they appear in the country of origin, or whether it is appropriate and correct when the names are translated into other countries in their languages. For my part, for example, I write all names in the form in which they are written and spoken by the people concerned in their home country, such as the Arabic name Hussein, which is always corrected by Christian Freiner as wrong, because, for example, on the internet, etc., this name is listed as Hussein. Am I stupid, or am I the one who selfishly simply translates names into other languages, thereby losing the true Kabbalistic value of their original meaning?
Our linguists, who as a rule also deal with the Kabbalistic terminology, explain that names are only written and pronounced correctly if they are in their original form, and thus in the language from which they originate. So, if you bring the Arabic name Hussein to the application of writing and pronunciation as it is written and pronounced in the country of origin, then you are acting correctly. However, if Christian complains about this and rectifies it, it is wrong and incorrect because writing and speaking Hussein is completely false, and in this wise the name no longer has anything to do with the original and actual value of the name. According to our linguists, the only correct wise of writing and speaking is Hussein, as it is used in the Arab country of origin. Everything else means a falsification of the name, because, as I said, original names must not be translated into foreign languages. Thus, for example, a name appearing in the German language must not be converted into the English language, like Schneider to Taylor or vice versa, because the Kabbalistic value of each name must be preserved in the original language, because, as you know, the Kabbalistic values of each name in its original language are of great importance to the person wearing it. Hussein gives the numerical values 163215, and thus the intermediate value 18 and the basic number 9, while Hussein gives the numerical values 163315 with the intermediate value 24 and the basic number 6. Which of course gives differences that no longer have any connection with each other.
But you do not mean that these two names can be equated in terms of numbers in Kabbalistic, because for the Arabic language, other Kabbalistic numerical values are valid than in the German language.
That is correct, because my explanation only corresponds to a comparison between the two names. But now, my friend, we should turn our attention to the questions that are assigned to me by our spiritual leadership.
Of course. But wait. Here I would also like to give you my results regarding the forms of creation, which I have worked into the spiritual teaching and which Guido was tempted to bring into a clear schema series.
I thank you and Guido in the name of our spiritual leadership, but also my thanks shall not remain unexpressed. But let us now come to the questions.